All right. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. We're back.
Well, you took down my quote that I always have up there, which is
What's
this one,
that?
which says the world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. And that's the motto of the watchdogs.
Mm.
That's why we try to do something about it. I put that up there before every watchdog show because, see, we are the people that must do something about it. If we don't do anything about it, then nobody else is going to think that they have to do anything about it. So we have to set that example ourselves by doing what we think is right. You didn't call to be on this show, I know. So you don't know I got a 12 o'clock show every 12 o'clock.
Caller.
Yes. How you doing?
That might be the first caller. So, hey, it could be the person we're talking about today or the person that has prompted our topic today. And for those of you who have been in a bunker or lost in the world somewhere, you all recently saw this week where I call her an advocate and an activist for the people for voting rights, but Stacey Abrams, Stacey Abrams, former gubernatorial candidate, has decided to jump back into the race against Brian Kemp. And so we all know was cheated last time, because Brian was the referee, the candidate, and the judge, and was able to manipulate things in a way that helped him out. And so Stacey was disenfranchised, but she's back after doing so many years of Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Acts, and creating Fair Fight. Let me tell you, Julius, I am thankful for Fair Fight. Fair Fight endorsed myself a year ago. And so I just, what are your thoughts? I mean, Stacey's back in it.
Well, my thing is this. Um, Stacy, she should have been got back in it. But
Mm-hmm.
Stacy didn't wasn't robbed by Kemp last time. Stacy was robbed by the people
Mm.
because if enough people had went to vote, then we wouldn't have had to worry about whether Kemp is the governor right now.
Mm.
If enough people went to vote. And that was the problem. Enough people didn't go vote. And so it wasn't Brian Kemp's fault. It was our fault by not pushing hard enough. We all did what we could. Uh, people have to understand how it works these days. It isn't the old way where you go pay the pastors these days like they used to in the old days. They used to go give the pastor a bucket of money. Now you have to get out and get the people who are connected in the communities because believe me, the pastors aren't connected in the community like they used to be back in the day. They don't give a damn about the community. So all they care about is what they collect in church on Sunday. So you need to get those people that are involved, those community leaders, and get with them and give them the money to do the work because that's how you're going to change things.
Brother Teray, I will say that. Let me step back, Julius, because Amir, Jamal, I don't know what name we use today, but Brother Teray, I am in Miami, Florida, celebrating the 44th birthday of my cousin Michelle Bryant Gardner. And yes, it is December 4th. So Jay Jones, I'm a little pissed off at Jay Jones for not acknowledging Founders Day and Father's Day for the Omegas, really. Uh, but it is December 4th, as Jamal Trey saying we have a Founders Day luncheon. And so we wanted to acknowledge Happy Founders Day to the brothers of Alpha Alpha. But Teray, I don't know why you're not. We're talking about some more, very serious issues here. We need you on here, Teray, to talk about Stacey Abrams. But you're right, Julius. I think you're right. It is always interesting that people want to um, as I started to talk about, kind of look at the Brian Kemp factor. But you're right. If we don't get out there in the numbers and vote, I think I've heard it before. We've got the numbers to beat a lot of these Republicans, specifically here in the Congressional District 1. We just don't get out to vote. I don't understand what that's about.
Well, it's something that we have to do, and we have to do it in large numbers. And this is what it is. It's about registration, education, participation. And
Mm-hmm.
if we don't do the registration part, they can't vote unless you're registered. Then we have to educate them on who is a greater benefit to them.
Yeah.
Who is going to do something for them and who's going to do something against them. People have to know that, because a lot of times people vote for people who are a detriment to them. You don't vote
Mm-hmm.
for somebody that's a detriment to you. That's like feeding yourself poison. A
Yeah.
slow death, which we do anyway by eating all this damn fast foods. But anyway, and then it's about participation. You got to get people to understand that your vote counts. I've heard several people tell me, well, my vote didn't count. It ain't going to count anyway. So I don't go vote. Really? Really? You don't go vote because you don't think your vote count. All your votes count. It's going to become a day where it's going to be a 5-10 vote margin. So everybody have to vote. Once you register, you get educated, you have to participate. So you have to vote.
That's right. And Teray put this comment here. Go ahead and send Teray the link, because I want, Teray, as a good place, good point here. Clear view. I want folks, you talked about a minute ago, Julius, about education and participation. A lot of times we complain and we get things like Yammer and the misrepresentation there. But folks need to understand it goes back to the education part. When you fail to vote, it's an old saying was just said, whether if you don't advocate, you're basically agreeing with the opposition. So when you don't vote, you're giving a free pass to people to make decisions that impact all of us, right? So we got the clear view. We go to things like Yamacroft. We have a council person representation solidly on things that are detrimental to allow folks like Brian Kemp to win. You're signing off on policies and you're agreeing to policies that are detrimental to our people. So you got to get out here to vote. And how do you get back to vote? So let's go back one further, registration. We need every organization, civic organization, grocery store, whatever, to register people. Then we got to educate people. I've been an advocate of this for a while. As a matter of fact, in District 5 for the Chatham County Party, we have Soku, who's working on a piece around how do we educate voters in the 5th District, right? And so we educate people on why it's important to vote and what they're voting on. And then the participation part. Now that you're registered, now that you know what's going on, it's up to you to get out there to the polls, whether that means getting there, however you get there, but you did have to participate. And so that's a component piece that, we've all play a role in making sure it happens. And to go back to that Clearview comment, it's like this. So, for example, I want to use Medicaid, for example, Medicare and all the healthcare pieces. You see that Senator Warnock has been a strong advocate to expand that healthcare piece for Georgia, where when we had Kelly Loeffler, she cared less about that. So if you did not go vote for Warnock, you were basically silently voting for Loeffler, right? And so you got to make sure we're putting in place things that will help you and your neighbor and your family advance. And so I don't know, I just don't understand why people, don't see it that way, or just don't find it a priority. Oh, this is just, my vote doesn't count, or This is just a local election. Hell, local elections have more impact.
Well, and that's true, because it works from the bottom up when it comes to electing people. It works from the bottom up, because one thing that I always tell people: if you think that your vote don't count, if you think that the elected officials are overlooking you, it's for one reason. It's for one reason. They know you don't vote, so you don't matter to them.
Mm-hmm.
So stop complaining. Get out the way. Don't complain. If you don't vote, don't complain. Simple as that.
That's it. So let me ask you, how well do you think Stacey could do? She's been out there doing the work. She's been in Virginia campaigning governor, and honestly, that might have hurt her political capital. She went to Virginia campaign for a Democratic governor who got slaughtered. So I don't know. I don't know. Does she really have the political capital to pull it off?
I think she has the political capital to pull it off, but Stacey is falling into this category of politicians that are unrelatable.
Hmm.
She has everybody doing the work to push her, but she has to come and push herself. Damn, giving a great speech. Anybody can give a great speech.
Right.
She's very articulate, very approachable, but she has to come out and walk like everybody else. She has to come and knock on doors. Let the little person have a reason to be motivated to come vote for you. Just don't say,
Mm.
oh, Stacey was in town, but all you did was go see the bigwigs.
Right.
They ain't got but one vote, and they ain't trying to influence anybody because they lazy as hell. If you don't call those people on the ground floor and have a meeting with all of them, talk with all of them, the movers and the shakers, you just wasting your time. You ain't gonna never beat Brian Kemp. Get your fat butt up off that bus and walk. Hit some doors. Talk to some real people.
You didn't have to go there now.
I just keep it real. Shit.
Now see, now you're gonna have Dr. Hall come in here and get us all in trouble again this week. You
I
had to
know
say that.
she's gonna say something in a minute anyway. She watching it. She on the way to a funeral.
No, you're gonna have our funeral right here talking like that. Like that.
Yeah, the Stacey factor. The Stacey factor. Stacey, you have to be more relatable. You have to get out and shake some real people hands. Damn, shaking elected officials' hands. They can't do nothing for you because they all fake. Damn near. They
So
fake. The people voted for them just to vote for them. They have to be able to reach the people. Get out
that's
and talk to the people.
now
You
let
know,
me ask, now but then you add the factor too of I think Warnock will be on the ballot. You have Warnock, you'll have B, of course, and a number of other candidates. It could be a situation where we end up with an all female legislative body at the executive level.
it could be. It
You
could
know,
be. But they still, the only way that they got that female power. They got, because the females outvote the men, because the men are just lazy as hell and don't think that they have time to go vote. And so we had to get the men to start voting too in a larger number, a
yeah,
larger percentage. But you got to get those people who can relate to the people. Now, one thing I will take and say, and people will probably think I'm crazy, but you got people who do get out into the neighborhood, who are elected officials, who do it real well. You got the Alicia Miller Blakeleys, the Keisha Gibson Carters, you got the Bernetta Laniers, and you got the Van Johnsons. Van is every damn where. So you got to have politicians like that do go out. One thing I can say about Van, he go everywhere. He knows how to politic and get people behind him, even though he gonna leave them behind him.
Mm.
He ain't trying to pull them up on the side of him or in front of him. He gonna leave them behind him. But he does know how to politic. You got to get people that are relatable to the people who can persuade some people, influence them to vote for you. And that's the way you win elections. You got to have a person that's relatable. You got to knock on those doors yourself. You got to go into those neighborhoods yourself. And if you go into those neighborhoods and do the work, then people will say, "Damn, Stacey was down here in Yamacraw. Oh man, she was down here." They love that. Stop going to the big functions and talk to the little people. The little people are who is what matters. You know what? Those are lasting moments forever. Obama got out and knocked on doors. Obama got out and walked and talked to people. That's how you change people's minds. That's how you motivate people. And until you do that, you ain't gonna be that type of candidate that can change the world. But anyway.
No, I never understood why we, and I mean we as an organizations, candidates, folks of influence, voter registrations, don't go into the West Lakes, don't go to Yamacraw, don't go to the Hitch Villages. Those are areas where the education and the registration have got to show up stronger.
Correct.
And Warnock's one of my favorite people. I'm not sure if you've done this, but go out to the Caton homes. You grew up there. What better way now than to say, a U.S. Senator went into Caton Home, Fred Wessels, Hitch Village, just to talk to the people. That'll be so impactful, not just for the adults there, to see somebody that looks like them who has gone from what, some of their conditions of living to now being a United States Senator. How magical that story could be, who's now the leader of Dr. King's historic church in Atlanta, who to get there had to figure out a way through Morehouse College so he could be successful. So that's a magical story that it'd be so impactful, not just for the adults there, but for the young people.
That's correct. That's correct. And that's what has to happen in order for us to change anything. They have to understand there's a new way of politicking. And if you don't get on board with that new way of politicking, you're going to be left behind. It's excuse me one second. But yeah, it has to happen like that. You have to understand the switch, the change. You can't do it from like they did 30 years ago. You can't. It doesn't work no more. You have to evolve into a new thinking. There's young people out there that you aren't reaching that needs to be reached that can vote for you. And if you don't do it, if you don't do those things that are necessary to reach them, then they feel like you don't relate to them, so they're not going to be motivated to come out and vote for you. They're not going to call all the other friends and get them excited about voting for you. So you got to. It has to be a change. You have to have young people on these campaigns and get all these old people out the way. Old people are going to vote anyway. You don't need to persuade them.
And I see this comment from Andre. Don't just go when you need something. Andre, you hit that nail right on the head. That's another piece that baffles me is that, I don't understand why they're not more virtual town halls, right? And I'm not on any candidate. I will say that I've seen more town halls at the local level. More specifically, I'll speak to District 5, where Commissioner Milton and Alderwoman Shabazz did hold a town hall in person, really. I did ask them, hey, could you expand it to Zoom for the elderly? But it's good to see that type of stuff. Folks need to stay in touch with the people more often, whether you running for office or not. You got the Hungry Club Forum. That's a piece for people to get kind of exposed. You got ATR, which is another piece for people to get exposed. People is important, and I think far too
Well,
often.
Robert, but the thing, what happens is people get a little bit um, hung up instead of, and that's a great idea that you just brought up. Maybe you should call Stacey and tell her to do that. That she needs every night before she goes to bed to have a 30-minute conversation on Facebook. She needs to always have a planned 1 hour town hall every day that people can get on and relate to. Appear on Roland Martin, get on every talk show that there is locally on Facebook and on um, all the other YouTube channels and everything. She needs to do that. But then when you have other people who know that we reach 38,000 people, 38,550 people a month on this platform. That's what we do. It was 29,000. No, it's 33,550. We went up 4,000 people. Um, so we're putting out, without a whole lot of help. It's almost like me. I'm a one-man show, and I'm serious. I'm doing everything here until my help returns. Um, so uh, to help build something so we can get this information out to the public, uh, you got to have those people who know that there are other assets that can be utilized, and not hate on that particular person. What you're trying to do is get something accomplished. So if ATR can help anybody to move or advance forward, then you need to utilize ATR's resources and 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 contact us to get your message out. Because if she does what you just said about holding that town hall, she got to make time. You got all the people in place, you got all the money you need, you got fair fights, you got everybody behind you, got all the big politicians. They're all gonna be behind you. She got the clout now to get that fundraising machine in order, so where she ain't got to be on the phone like we have to be. We had to be on the phone every night calling people for money. She got the resources to do it. All they got to do is drop her name now. So she has more time to relate to the people. But she has to be coached right to do that, because she don't know every damn thing, and then she an old politician anyway. She young, but I'm saying she still got old school methods.
Right.
So she has to be able to utilize everybody. Everybody. I like that idea though. She needs to do that every day, or at least she can have a Sunday night conversation. That way you get the church people too. And you want everybody to share throughout Georgia. Call all your friends throughout Georgia. She need me running a damn campaign is what she need, me and you. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm already tired of stuff, but let me tell you this here. We're talking about down ballot. If the Democratic Party, and I always complain about this, if the Democratic Party of Georgia did this right, it could be a down ballot mechanism where not only do you have one person talking, you got multiple people talking in different areas and telling people to vote down ballot, even at the primary level. But I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? But don't lean that way.
Well, one thing that you're going to notice, Robert, you're going to notice this here, and I've only seen one race so far where the Republicans have more than one person in it. One.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one against Warnock, because they trying to pick and choose who they're all jumping in, thinking that they can beat Warnock. But in all the other races, if you notice, there's only going to be one person running against the Democrats. The Democrats are going to bloody each other up until you ain't no more good. But I mean, everybody get in. If you think that you have something to offer and you want to serve, then get in. Don't let nobody stop you. Get in. But don't just jump up talking about you want to get in when you haven't done no work. It doesn't work that way. You just can't go to Burger King and order a Whopper and don't pay for
Well, you can.
it. You can order it, but they're not going to give it to you. Just like they're not going to give you anything if you don't come put the work in. Mm-hmm. You freezing again too.
Oh,
a little bit. But benefiting down ticket, you got a lot of people down ticket. The commissioner, labor commissioner, our good friend Lester Jackson is in that, and we want to see Lester. He's our hometown boy, so we want to see Lester get where he should get. He's been serving in the state position for as a state rep and state senator for 22 years. So it's about time that he move on. Just like I told Van, you done outlived this seat. When me and Van were good friends. So you done outlived this seat. Move on up. That was when he was contemplating running for mayor. He and I had all those meetings, but he acted like we never did. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a topic we want to kind of slide into. One that I was hoping that, I think we were talking earlier, Julius. Now I felt like this. Lieutenant governor is an important seat. I think this is one where you talk about Lester. I think Lester's done a fabulous job. I think he's done really well. He relates with the people. I think he would be a great compliment to Stacey at lieutenant governor. But I see, Van for lieutenant governor. I don't know. I can see Lester for lieutenant governor.
Van or Lester? Van, you should run for lieutenant governor.
Do you mean it in sincerity or you mean it in sarcasm?
Get him out the way. Shit. Run for lieutenant governor, man. But anyway, well, I don't know how much clout he got outside of Savannah. But in order to carry the state, you're gonna need this southeast also. That's gonna be the pushover, the what takes you over the top. He don't have too much clout in Atlanta because the woman he just endorsed the other day got knocked out the box. She got beat to death. The one Van endorsed in Atlanta. They say we don't need no more.
Well, they say Stacey might be tapping him to do some work down here. I don't know. So I don't know. Stacey taps, and you think that might help Brian Kemp?
I don't know. In it.
Hey, Donald Trump already endorsed Stacey Kemp. Stacey Abrams. What am I talking about? Stacey Kemp. Sherry, he already endorsed Stacey Abrams. So I don't know. And then you got what's his name? Former Senator David Perdue, who's considering running for governor. But look, now I think there's a number of candidates. Matter of fact, one of my fraternity brothers, I can't remember his name, running for lieutenant governor. But my thing is, at that level, you need somebody who has been out there. That's why I say I wish Lester would have run for lieutenant governor. He's been out there. He's got great charisma. He does good work. He's been in front of the people. He's a people person. I think he would be an awesome candidate for lieutenant governor.
Well, if Brian Kemp is the only one on the Republican side that's going to run, and Donald Trump gives his endorsement to Stacey, then that's awesome. Donald Trump is an idiot. Nobody wants to be associated with him but some more idiots. But if Donald Trump did that, it's only because he's in his feelings. Jamal, I sent you the link in case you wanted to come on here and say all these things that you're saying.
He's scared.
You can come on here and say anything you want to say, Jamal Torre. The link was sent to your Facebook and your email.
He's scared. Like frat brother.
Yeah, he's probably doing a tour. But Donald Trump is an emotional beast. If somebody piss him off, he don't care what it is. He wants to get them back. But he don't understand politics. He just got in and lucked up because we were asleep at the wheel and crashed in 2016 when Donald Trump won. we were asleep at the wheel and we crashed. Donald Trump is an idiot who lucked up and became president. They thought that he would do something because of his business uh, uh, background, but Donald Trump showed who he really was, and he's an idiot. That's why the people turned down in record numbers to get rid of him. So Donald Trump giving Stacey, I wish he'd come out and he get all those rednecks to vote for Stacey. That'd be great.
Yeah, we're gonna see how far he goes with that. But before I bring up this next comment from Better Savannah, it's interesting that I want to step back to this endorsement that our mayor made for Felicia Moore and how, I think, and I'm not saying that made or break Felicia Moore, but it was interesting to me that, when you start talking about how you campaign and all that, how she came out against, allegedly, she came out against the strip clubs, and people, hate it or not, I don't care whether you like it or not, but the reality is sex work is a profession. I don't care what you feel about it. It is. And so when you talk about shutting down strip clubs and all that, you are impacting worker professionals who now would then be out of work. I don't know why she thought that was smart.
Well, somebody said that she didn't do that was a rumor, but and we just took it and had fun with it. But you cannot shut down the strip clubs.
No.
The best chicken wings in town are in the strip clubs. So you can't shut the strip clubs down, sister. You're employing a whole lot of women. You're employing the money is being spent. A lot of liquor, alcohol is being revenue is being generated for the state.
Oh Jesus!
It's a lot. It's the restaurant business, chicken wing business go out of business. It's a lot of factors that you have to consider when you're talking about you want to shut something down that's real popular. Atlanta has the most famous strip clubs in the country. They travel all over the world to come to Atlanta strip clubs. So why would you talk about closing something down where everybody come to? You lost right there. They said was that she really didn't say it. They said that she said it in joking to somebody.
Somebody took it serious. When you were mayor of that kind of a city.
Yeah, but it was some time ago that she had said it to somebody. Yeah. Because
they run office in Savannah and saying something against the labor union, you done jacked yourself up.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was labor unions. I need y'all to know that. They didn't know it last time, even though I told them I come from a family of laborers. So just keep that in your mind, my labor union friends and family. I love y'all.
You said you had a question from Savannah?
Savannah? I'm up here now is that, we need to tie it to what we're talking about, but they said, when is SCAG going to pay their fair share via a pilot program? I think that's a great idea, honestly. And when you start talking about political stuff, how great would it be for that kind of a pilot program to look at, like the graphics folks and the folks that do graphics and art and things like that, to help out some of these pieces where people need support around getting internships and so forth and so on.
Well, SCAD is just stupid though. SCAD has so much to gain if they would really have the public behind them if they did stuff for people, marginalized people, the underserved people, besides giving out a free turkey every now and then or whatever they do. That was so minimal the other day that I saw they were doing. SCAD has too much money to not reinvest in this community. You wouldn't be asking for pilot programs to be instituted against SCAD. And the pilot is, in case people don't know, is pay in lieu of taxes. That's what it stands for. Since they are they're tax exempt from being taxed for the city and the county, then the pilot programs is pay in lieu of taxes. And we're trying to get SCAD to understand that they need to give back. They need to do something. Or our politicians got to have enough backbone to say, okay, there's a moratorium on your tax exemptions. Anything you buy from now on is not tax exempt. It has to be a limit of so much that you can take from the people, because you're really taking tax money away from the people, even though you're putting money back into the community by bringing all your students here, all the buildings, all, the electric company don't give them no damn break. Why are we giving them a break?
Mm-hmm.
The water don't give them no, sewage don't give them no break. Why are we giving them a break? SCAD needs to pay what they need to pay. The SCAD go to the bank for a loan. The bank ain't giving them a free loan. SCAD need to pay taxes just like every damn body else pay taxes, and it's unfair. They own more property than anybody in this county. They're going now to try to take over Atlanta. They got colleges all over the world, and it started right here in Savannah.
Oh yeah, my thing is, and a lot of higher ed institutions get this type of break, which is unfair. I agree, it's totally unfair. What I would like to see SCAD do, and I think we have a leader in politics here in Savannah that loves public-private partnerships, so I've heard, is work with these nonprofits. In particular, I'm working with a client now who has a great idea for a nonprofit to help the homeless. So how great would it be to restore some of these historic homes to then put someone like my client in charge and contributing these homes to this nonprofit, get people off the streets, feed them, rehabilitate them, restore them. This idea of restoration of these individuals. And that is a great way to give back to the community. You got the public-private partnerships. And then if the city would get up off of their ass and give some money to these nonprofits instead of putting bricks on Broughton, then we start seeing things the economic components coming together, and we don't have people on the streets. We don't have people committing so many crimes. Because again, instead of bricks on Broughton, we also need to be to these youth programs. I just
you're so right, Dr. Bryant. You are so right. Because if the money is not being put where it should be put, and bricks on Broughton Street, they're investing in the future of tourism on Broughton Street so that taxes can and the tourism industry can continue to flourish. Downtown looks good, but you got to invest in every part of the city, and you're not doing that. I heard recently that Van has started a Asian task force, and we are a little off topic. Y'all excuse us because we don't cover so many topics on the Watchdog. We do that on all the other shows, but Asian task force, Asian task force. Can y'all hear me? Asian task force. Have you seen any homeless Asians? Have you seen any broke Asians in this city? Have you seen any Asians being underserved or marginalized? What the hell do you need an Asian task force for? That ain't nothing but another ad hoc campaign committee that he is starting to get everybody behind him because he's doing so much for everybody, but he ain't doing a damn thing for us. It's just cover. Now, like I said, I'm only going to give you credit where credit is due. He's a great politician. He knows how to get out in the business, in the street, and handle his business in the street. He don't. Behind the desk, he does it. In the street, he does. And he's doing this here with the Asian community. What do you need an Asian task force for? Please tell us. Please tell us. I don't. Can you tell me? You might know.
Bless his heart.
Do you know? I'm trying to figure out what the fuck we need. What the hell we need an Asian task force for?
Here's the thing. Let me talk about these task forces, and I'm gonna be, it bothered me to know that we had a task force on race or diversity or whatever it was called to only come out and say that Black folk are disenfranchised, as if we didn't do this. So I don't understand what's the purpose of the task forces, and if anybody watching, help me understand what is I'm lost. What's the overall outcome? What is it supposed to do? Is it supposed? And I go back to what you said, Julius. It's almost like And I'll be honest, is what Stacey's doing. Fair fight really was a strategic move, a good one, but a strategic one. But the task forces are really just a behind the scenes building of a campaign team.
That's it. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. We got bigger issues. We got people that are sleeping on the streets. We got people who are dying on the streets every day. You want to do something after you came out with that diversity task force on diversity? Implement something. Use that money. Stop wasting time and brain power on a task force that's not needed. Hey, you need with the Asian task force.
Well,
you help those that need help.
And I just don't understand, why hasn't there been a crime task force, or is there? I mean, there's a number of crime issues, and
yeah, got one. This one somewhere out there. I forgot what the name of it is, but he has some type of crime task force, and all those brains that he put on that Asian task force should be put on there. All those things that they came out in these studies that he's already done for the last 2 years, start implementing some of them. All this money that you're spending, put the police in every one of these neighborhoods riding like they're supposed to be riding. You can go through some neighborhoods and don't see a police for hours.
Well, this is the thing too. And it is for the listener, if you really want to create a group of people or a commission or whatever who wants to implement change, put people on the committee who live these experiences every day, right? So if you're going to create a crime force on a task force on crime, I want you to pull some of these mothers whose their sons have been killed. I want you to pull some of these folks who live in the Caton homes, who see this stuff every day. I want you to put folks on that commission who live and breathe and see this stuff every day. That's where the solutions come. Stop picking people who got all this money and who don't experience this stuff, who live over in Habersham Woods and have a nice living life every day. Pick people who are hurting. Pick people who are really living, breathing in the trenches. That's who's going to tell you how to make change.
And it's funny that you say that, because you're exactly right. You got to pick people who can make a difference, not just who are your friends or who was recommended by somebody or who has the educational background. Education backgrounds do not get problems solved. All they can do is probably analyze the data off of the paper. But just like they had the czar that the county was paying through the city, that Pastor Lee used to be over, and then they had this other guy that was over, and then I don't know whether they got anybody over it now. But anyway, that person needs to be somebody who can go into the community and talk to people.
Right.
That person shouldn't be a person. They brought the guy in from Chicago to be it, and he quit and went somewhere else. He was there less than 90 days. The guy out of Chicago. Remember him? They brought this guy in from Chicago. That person should be somebody that's local, that could go in the community and talk to these kids who are out there doing all the shooting. There was a gun violence czar, whatever it was, that person was.
No, that was dumb. At the end of the day,
somebody from academia, because all a person from academia can do is read a damn a stat and analyze that. He can't do nothing else. He can't go talk to nobody in the neighborhoods, because he can't relate to these kids. Hire you somebody who can go out and make those truths, who can go and talk to these kids about stopping killing each other, somebody from the community that's committed, who done went through it, who can go and reach these kids. Other than that, you just wasting your time, and all you're doing is putting a bandage over an open wound that needs to be stitched.
Well, my thing is, when it comes to the young people, and this ties into what we're talking about, you want people in office, at least I would like to see people in office who are not afraid to go out there and, like you say, have conversations with the young people, who are not afraid to say, you know what, common sense tells you, if you want to stop crime and you want to stop youth violence, you give them something to do. There's a bright idea. How about you open these community centers and make sure there are activities that resonate with these young people? How about you give them something to do? Even when I was growing up in Savannah, the only thing you had to do, and people about to get pissed with what I'm about to say, the only thing you have to do is to have sex and go out there and get in trouble. So what you gonna do? You do what's in front of you, right? Few of us had people like my mom and dad who were retired by the time I went to middle school. So my choice was get your ass something to work. But we got to stop sitting around here spending money on this bullshit and making sure we put people in office who understand that common sense tells you keep these young people active, get out there and talk to them, quit being afraid of them. Stop being afraid of these young people. They'll tell you if you sit there and listen.
That's right.
Hell,
That's right.
you sit right there and and this is what bothers me with folks. If you see a problem in your community, you pull a young person aside and you don't chastise them. You don't make them feel less than. You say, what's going on here, young brother or young sister? What's going on? When you learn what's going on, then you can address it. You don't chastise them. You don't make them feel less than. You say, okay, let me show you a better way. And you do that through words and action.
That's correct. That is absolutely correct. One thing we got to find out to get back on subject for a second is Georgia red, blue, or purple. What can we do? What can we do to make Georgia? That's what time. Her stuff is on the couch downstairs. So he throw it on the bed. Yeah, we have to make sure that is Georgia red, blue, or purple. If we want to turn Georgia blue, really blue, it has to be the same turnout or way better than the turnout was in for Warnock
Right.
and Ossoff. It has to be way better.
I think Georgia is blue. Our problem is, and I think Jay Jones says this enough, is that we got to get people out the vote, motivated and get out the vote. And that just takes really motivating people and letting them understand. It goes back to the education piece, letting them know why it matters to them. And when you realize that all these things are tied to your everyday budget, your everyday living, your everyday ability to pay for gas, your everyday ability just to get good credit, when you understand how that's intricately tied to all of that, that motivates people to get out and vote.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be pushing it here on this platform because education, registration, education, and participation is vital to the survival of our people and our communities, no matter who live in them. So we have to get this done. And the only way to get it done is through those nonprofits and those people like Soros and Fair Fight and all those people who can fund these things, who can pay the people to go out and register people, to educate them, and to get them to participate. That's where you start at. You start there to increase your voter base, and you can win these races if that happens. You know.
I'm gonna throw this other topic up, and then we're gonna shift into the Bulldog mode. But you said who's Riverwalk?
Riverwalk has brought the cottages over on 38th off of B Road. What's been in the newspaper recently, all over the newspaper, all over the news media. Every I think the city went out there with all their people the other day, with all the county, all the city, all the women and all the persons. They own Hampstead off of Hampstead, the old apartments off of Hampstead, off of White Bluff. They own Presidential Plaza, the old Presidential Plaza. I heard SCAD brought the old Presidential Plaza. So is Riverwalk a dummy company for SCAD?
It might be. It might be. There might be their little shelter.
Yeah, because if these people get the cottages over there, you know how big the cottage is pretty big. Pretty nice area off of 38th and B Road over there.
Well, here's my concern, and it goes back to SCAD, and again, it ties into the legislative pieces that we put in place by putting these folks in office. If they get the Oaks by Brandlewood, which is a whole different name now, People don't realize this. They're now bookending communities they want. So if you bookend that with what you got over there on Montgomery Street, you are now basically now encapsulating that whole fifth district.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's alarming. It's really alarming, and that's why, and folks in fifth district, I don't care who don't like it, but you better put an alderwoman, alder person, a commissioner, and a school board representative who give a shit about the communities. Excuse my language, but that's how passionate I feel about it. It's time out for putting people over there who nice and friendly and bump all that. Put
And
somebody
selfish.
up for the community.
Yeah. It's time out for those selfish people, because you're right. Because when they book in on this end of the fifth and this end of the fifth, guess what they do then?
They eat alive.
They squeeze in. Gentrification coming, whether you like it or not, when they start booking from the north, south, east, and west.
That's right.
Because they got to close in. And it's a slow process that takes 30, 40 years. But the plan is already in process. It's in motion. Ain't nothing you can do about it once you let it happen, especially when you got sellouts that's letting them do it. When you got sellouts.
I got a dad, 94 years old, who gets 4 or 5 calls a day, 4 to 5 calls a day to sell his house. Now, how rude is that? So I can only imagine what Carl Murray and Aldrin and all other folks in 5th District, Taylorville, getting millions of calls to sell their property. Now, these are hard-working properties where people built these homes brick by brick. And now you want them to sell them just so that you can make more money and not pay taxes? Come on now.
Hey, tell your cousin she on Facebook all over the world.
I told her that. She hard headed.
Tell her you ain't just on no local thing. Tell her she being viewed all over the world.
You hear that? She said she's a Sports Illustrated model, so it don't matter.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know in case she starts taking off clothes or something, she'll understand.
Bad, so she said she's 44 and bad, so they gonna see you. Now it's my fault. Look, we'll keep it to an hour today, but to close it out, man. Hey, who's gonna win tonight? How many Bama fans we got?
Go Bulldogs. Y'all see my Bulldog. Y'all see it. Bulldog.
Listen.
Bulldog.
Yes, I got my good line brother of mine. We played Jaffa at Georgia Southern. Pastor Antoine Sharp in Hinesville. So I don't know what got Antoine Sharp, but he's a good brother, he's a good pastor. But I think tonight Kirby Smart is going to realize his dream.
Well, you got to be ready for Alabama because Saban done studied, and he usually outplay his coaches. He usually outthink his coaches, the other coaches, his opponents. So you have to be ready for Saban because he's smart. You can't underestimate Alabama because they are a national power. Georgia just has a great team this year. Georgia had great teams the last 2 or 3 years. They let Alabama off the hook twice.
That's right.
So when you get Alabama, you got to beat them down and don't let up. All gas, no brakes.
Yeah,
and that's what it's going to have to be today. That's the only way you can beat them.
I think Jimbo had their number a few weeks ago. Auburn almost had their number with a brand new coach. So, I mean, if Kirby is smart, he'll go back to that tape, look at that. Like you said, though, regardless of what you saw, you better go full throttle for those 4 quarters. If you give them an inch, as Auburn saw it, Auburn gave them an inch, and that joker took 5 miles and went warm loose in the last in overtime.
Yeah.
Now that's called good coaching. So I think tonight, if they focus, they gotta be focused. They gotta remove emotion, and they gotta stay committed and to attacking the day. If they do that, they'll be fine.
Well, let's hope that they do. Just remember, people, the reason that you don't matter when you think that you should is because you don't vote.
That's
and
it.
If you don't vote, you don't matter.
That's right. I think
you got to influence other people.
That's true. I mean, and when you said that, it made me think about, and I tell people this all the time. If you think voting is unimportant, I want you to go do this today. Go to YouTube, and I want you to type in Blood Sunday and see what that happened, what that looked like. I want you to go listen to John Lewis, who talks about his skull being broken, not bruised, not a knee scrape, his skull being broken. Think about how hard somebody had to hit that man in the head to break his skull just so you could go make a choice on your representation. If that don't motivate you enough, I don't know what will. So think about.
Well, we're covering Stacey on Wednesday. We're going to be covering SCAD with the pilot program, and whether we need some representatives with some backbone to make them start paying taxes, whether we have to do whatever has to be done to get this thing done, with them paying some type of taxes in lieu of payments in lieu of taxes. And we're going to be covering the gentrification. All the topics we covered here, we'll cover them. We have a lot of other people with voices giving voice to it on Wednesday and the rest of the week and the rest of the month. But we got some important elections coming up. Stacey's in the race, so y'all get ready and let's see where we go at from there. Hopefully, everybody can get motivated and want to know that we want to get Brian Kemp out. And whether Trump likes Stacey or not, doesn't matter. Let's do what we got to do.
That's it. And we're going to be out of here. But before we did, we'd be remiss not to give a shout out to ATR family member Tiffany. Tiffany Taylor, you know, she brought in a newborn last Saturday, I want to say. So we congratulate her on that. On the same token, she also lost her grandmother, who I've known for a while as well. So we they're burying her today. As a matter of fact, the funeral just started. We send Tiffany and her family our prayers and love, and just make sure you stay covered in prayer.
Also, our good brother Matthew Southall Brown Jr. He's burying his father, Matthew Southall Brown Sr., and we want to give a shout out to them. And my wife traveling to bury her uncle in Vidalia. So y'all stay prayerful.
That's
because God is able when the devil is busy.
Right.
And we're going to go from there. And we'll see y'all on Wednesday for more conversation. But y'all tune in Monday to, I think, our next show Monday. Candidly Keisha, Tuesday with Ferrante, Frazier with Natural as a F, and Wednesday with the Rabble and Tell It Like Run to That with Dr. Jamar Torre. Thursday we got Taking the Journey Together with the Butts, Kelvin and Craig and Sharon. And Friday, you know, we got 4 or 5 shows on Friday.
Yeah.
And Saturday back here with the Watchdogs. We got 10, 11 shows now. We got 5 or 6 starting. I keep telling y'all they're starting, but I've just been so busy that I can't do it all by myself. I need help. So we're going to get it done, though. All right.
All right. Well, I'm about to go with the birthday girl. We're going to eat. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
And watch the Bulldogs.
That's it. All right now.